Hello guys, and welcome to a beginner's guide to prison architect. In this episode we are going to be completing the Basic Detention Centre Grant. Is one of the first two grants I suggest you take. And we will be building this lovely Basic Detention Centre. As you can see, this is already built. That's because I recorded a video and I have later decided to split it into two parts. So I'm going to pass you back on to past me now, who will run you through the building of this facility. And we are going to move on to the next grant we have for a basic detention centre. Now, as I said before, I would usually go along and plan out everything, where I'm going to put everything. But I don't want to bore you guys, I just want to help you out. So I'm just going to quickly go through. And first thing it says is holding cell. We're going to click on rooms, go to holding cell. And it says it needs to be a 5x5 at least. The kitchen and the canteen don't have a minimum size. Neither does a shower. Yard needs to be a 5x5. And that is all our rooms. So we basically just need two 5x5 rooms. So we're going to keep them reasonably close together. I think we're going to have our canteen here. Not our canteen, our holding cell. We'll build that first. Now it says 5x5, which is that. I'm just going to move it off this path to give a little bit of a gap. That is a 5x5. Personally, I think that's a little bit small. And what we're going to do is we're going to put beds in this thing. So we're going to move it out to about that. I'll give it to that will do, sorry. A 7x17. Now if you have crazy OCD, then you can go half of 17 is 8. The door should go there. Use your planning tool to sort of measure things out so you can get your door bang in the middle. I mean, I used to do that, try and get everything symmetrical and perfectly lined up. Then I sort of tried to wean myself off of it and tried to build things more interesting looking than perfectly symmetrical. Although I still do want to do a perfectly symmetrical, like, cross prison, so you'd have a cross in the middle. You'd have a cross in the middle all the way across, and you'd have the rooms coming off of it. Yeah, I still want to do that. It's more of a pain in the ass than you would imagine. But this is our basic prison, so we're going to have a holding cell there. I'm just going to knock out those two there for the door. We're going to have a double door. So we're going to have all our prisoners in here. And when we tell them to go do something, they're all going to pile out at the same time. Good to have double doors when you're going to have a lot of people going through it. And if you're going to have loads of people, you could even put two double doors on. You'd have a place of 4 for everyone to pile out. But for this, a 2-door will be fine. It should be sufficient. The next thing we need is a shower. Now, one thing I do usually do is I'll normally build a cell block with individual cells and then build a shower on the back of it. So I'm going to do that here just to sort of demonstrate how I do it. Oh, that's going to be our shower at the back. We're still in planning mode. So this isn't costing us any money. Nothing is spent. And that's the shower. I'm going to need a yard. I'm going to leave the yard for now. You can sort of put that anywhere basically. Need a kitchen and a canteen. Now with the kitchen, it's going to require deliveries and it's going to require garbage. So you sort of want it close to the front of the prison at least, or you want a nice clear run where your workmen can get things into the kitchen. So for the purposes of this, we're going to stick our kitchen about there. Oh. You know, the problem is I think as new players, they tend to build things a little bit too big. So I'm going to do the canteen first and then build the kitchen on afterwards. I want the canteen roughly here. And I know canteens need tables, which are 4 long. They need benches, which are 4 long. And you can put your table in the middle like that, and then your benches on the side, which is the most efficient way to do it, I would say. So they can eat either side of the table. So we're going to make this have enough space for, well, that's 8 prisoners can eat at this table. We're going to go 16, so we're going to need 2 tables. I'm going to put one underneath. I'm going to leave a little gap between. And then you need a serving table, which I know is 5 long. So I'm going to put that there like so. And then that, I know I can get 16 prisoners eating in a canteen this size. I'm just going to fill in the outline of it, put in the walls around the things I've put in. So now I know this is big enough for 16 prisoners. It's not too big, not too small. I'm not going to struggle with space. So I'm going to build it and then try and fit tables in and go, oh, I don't have enough space. I know I can get enough tables in for what I know I need, which is 16 prisoners. And then I'm going to put the kitchen. What I tend to do is put a kitchen on the back of the canteen. Now I'm only going to need a small kitchen. That should suffice. I mean, your cookers are 2 by 2. It's going to knock that out there. Sink there, sink's 3. Cookers are just 2. And I'm going to put it there. And fridges are 2. So that's more than big enough. You could probably fit a few more in, and even make this a little bit smaller. Sometimes it is good to plan for expansion. You may think, oh, that's massive. I'm not going to need any more than that. And then you realize that when you build more cells or you expand your holding cell, you're going to need the bigger kitchen or the bigger canteen. So sometimes it can be an idea to leave a little bit of space around things. In case you do forget something, you can always expand it a little bit. So that's our kitchen, that's our canteen. Oop, we've unlocked finance, so we can hire our accountant, which we're going to do quickly. An accountant, drop her in our office. Now what our accountant does, if we go back to bureaucracy, he unlocks these for us now. So we can now pay to unlock these. We shouldn't need a bank loan. We're going to get most of our money through grants. And if we unlock this for $500, we can have an extra grant. We can have 3 running instead of 2. Is what we're going to do. We can get extra money, have more money in one go, and do 3 things at once, basically, rather than just 2. The rest of these we're going to leave and get back to them a little bit later. Right, so we have everything really. Only those 2 rooms. Yeah, that's because we put the shower on here, on the holding cell, and the kitchen on the back of the canteen. So again, we go to foundations first, then drag it out. Now when it comes to this, you could drag it to there and then demolish this bit here. Or you could, what I do is drag it to here, just fill out the outlines. Then you may want to sort of drag here, but it'll say this is blocked. You can't build a foundation on a foundation. Pack it on the side. I'm going to cancel that quickly just to show you there's sort of no limit to how you can do this. And sort of fill bits in, and fill other bits in. More useful when you're sort of building interesting shapes. When your wall isn't straight, and if you have a wall that say goes like that, something. Have your building on the inside. I like to do sometimes, just because it breaks things up a little bit. Something like that. Then you can foundation. I'm going to build this thing as well, why not? Go down to there and then just drag in this line and then drag in this line and then drag in this. Now all of these things are going to be moaning that they need an entrance. So for this one we're going to use a large jail door. And for this one I think we're going to use a large jail door again. We're basically going to be telling them go from their holding cell to go to go to eat, so they're all going to be piling in here at the same time. We don't want to create any bottlenecks if we can help it. And for this thing here, I'm just going to put a door on because I have no idea what it's going to be or if we'll ever use it. Right, so then get that door on. See, they are chopping down trees as they go as well because we planned over the top of them. Now these tree stumps can be a bit of a pain. Sometimes they don't disappear properly. Can't put items on top of them, but you got foundations, build a foundation over the top of it, it should demolish it, and then you can just bulldoze the foundation afterward. Say if you have one in your yard you can't get rid of. Right, so you'll see our planning has remained mostly intact, as it's removed where we built the walls, and it's also taken out the bits where it's put objects. In this case it's put lights in here, so it's moved the planning for those. But as we want these as two separate rooms, we're just going to go building brick wall, materials brick wall, and fill in these walls. And we're going to have a 2x2 door there. And then we're going to put a door in there. I don't think we can leave it open. And in this one here, I'm going to put a staff door. I want my chefs to be able to get out without asking for a guard to open the door. But I don't want my prisoners to be able to walk into the kitchen and steal knives. So it's going to let them finish those quickly. But quickly, guys, come on. And if you see you've got bits of planning left over that you don't want, go to your planning and right click and drag over. And just remove the planning like that. So, now they have finished this section. We're going to start building our rooms. I would always suggest you go rooms first. Now these rooms have been highlighted because they are in our to-do list. So we want shower there. And we want holding cell there. And we want canteen there. Kitchen there. And, oh, we could have a yard in here. Just for no reason. Your yard can be outside or it can be inside. Entirely up to you. I tend to make it outside. Sometimes I make my prisons without any outside space at all, really. They come into a door and it's all corridors around. That is a little bit harder to pull off. So I'd suggest you just have open space between your buildings and you build buildings for things. But if you sort of start running out of space, you can always expand everything into everything else and keep the walls. Keep the corridors running around the sides of things. But now we've sectioned everything as our certain rooms. Now when we go back to objects, items that we need in these rooms will be highlighted. So your shower will say failure shower head. And if you look on here, we have a shower head lit up, highlighted. Just going to run these down the back here. Now I tend to leave a little gap for my prisoners because I'm nice like that. And I'll excuse me. And I will tend to have enough shower heads for every prisoner I have. So every prisoner has one shower head. I'll get them all showering at the same time. I don't think you need to do that because they don't always all shower. Some of them don't some days. Or they'll shower in the free time instead. But you want to make sure you've got enough. Hygiene is one of their most important needs. After food and sleep. And a few of the things you can put in the shower. You can put anything you want in the shower, to be honest. But a few things that fit in the shower. You've got the drains here. We're going to put underneath this door, which will stop the water from the shower coming out into the holding cell. Can be important if you've got something electrical here. You don't want it setting on fire when the water hits it. So that should complete our shower. Not got this red exclamation mark, but our holding cell does. It says it wants a toilet and a bench. So we're gonna have a bench. bench up there on that side. And we're going to have some toilets. Have them in plain view of the door. Because why not? Now, as another thing, I would suggest if you are building holding cells, I didn't know about this when I sort of first started using them. Maybe that's why I don't like using them, because they don't really work unless you put beds in there. If you don't put beds in there, then your prisoners have nowhere to sleep. If they have nowhere to sleep, they get very arsy and they kick off. And that is not what you want to happen. So although it's not a requirement for the room, see the room was finished with just the toilets and the bench, it is good to have in there. You can weekly sleep people in here. I think it can supply most of their needs. I'm not sure if they have like a sort of privacy need, something like that, if they want their own personal space, or if you could just build holding cells for all your prisoners. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that one. But yeah, I would definitely put beds in for your holding cells. And then you'll see up here, we start getting something in this top bit. There's 0 out of 8. We have 0 prisoners, and we have a capacity for 8 prisoners. Probably to be 9. I think every prisoner needs a bed. So we can safely house 9 prisoners now. Although that's probably not a good idea, because we don't really have anything in. So we're going to finish this basic detention centre. We go back to objects again. And because we're hovering over the canteen, it's highlighted the table. Plonk them down there, it's highlighted the bench. Then we're going to plonk these on here. And serving table. Now spin that round and plonk that down there. So the chefs in the kitchen will cook the food, bring it out, put it on the serving table. And then the prisoners will grab it and sit on their seats and eat. Right, so what are we doing here? Our kitchen now. I'm going to put 2 cookers. I'm going to change my mind. I have the cookers up here. And put my fridges down the back here. Think on the back wall. Maybe like that. Now you can put bins in. It does highlight as something you can put in here. You can put them in the canteen. You can put them anywhere you want in your prison. They are sort of used. If a guard searches a prisoner and he has contraband, the guard will pick up the contraband and throw it into a bin. Or if there's rubbish on the floor from the kitchen supplies quite a lot of rubbish on the floor, but they will pick it up and throw it in bins. So it is handy to have in your kitchens and your canteens, or even your yards maybe. I tend to put it in because it looks nice, more for aesthetic reasons. So now we are almost finished. There's one thing I haven't gone through, which is utilities. I'll run through that very quickly. If you click on utilities at the bottom here, you get, like, I would say it's an underground menu view. So this is your prison from the underneath. And you'll see things are flashing little water icons saying they need water, and the electric ones, that's the light, not the shower head, saying they need electric. Now, get water and electricity, you will need a power station and a water pump. You can put these wherever you want in your prison. Or whack them all the way up here if you wanted to, down here. But I would suggest you keep them away from the prisoners. But you want them kind of central. You are going to have to plumb everything in. So we're going to put an electric power station there. And we're going to put our water pump there. Now, with the power station, you get these things called capacitors. They've increased the amount of electricity your power station can produce. You get one to start with for free. You get one power station, one water pump, and one capacitor for free to start with. We're just going to plonk all them down. And when they actually finish it, come on, speedy, there we go. You'll see this green bar at the side here. Now this will be split into two when you put that on. There's a little red, put that in as well. There is a little red bar sort of bouncing up and down. I don't know if you can see that. Let me just pipe some of this in. That is the amount of electricity you are currently using. There's actually nothing at the minute because nothing's actually wired up. Now your water station will need power. There we go. So that is using pretty much a quarter of our power. Then when they get this plumbed in, these lights will use a little bit of power, not a lot. Certain things will drain a lot of power, like metal detectors and cookers, fridges, you sort of big electronic items. So you have to keep an eye on this bar, and you want to keep this red bar or below this green. Now if you whack in more capacitors, it will increase the amount of green bars you have. I hope you're understanding this. But more capacitors gives you more power. When this red bar gets right to the top, it will cut out your power station. And there's a chance it'll explode. So, yeah, just keep an eye on it when you're building new things. Make sure you're going to have enough power to plumb everything in. Now, the electrical cable is nice and simple. You can just drag it around in straight lines. Your cookers and your fridges, they've got one of these things coming out the back. They do need to be directly plumbed in. Doesn't have to be to the back here. You do it anywhere on the side of them, around the side of them, and it will be plumbed in, or here, and it will be plumbed in, or here, or here. It will all connect up. And once they are connected up, you can run things off. So this will run through and through the other side. Power the lights in this room. But the lights, you don't have to go around every single light like this and plumb them all in. Greatest example, let me see if I can get a better example of this. Yeah. Come on guys, speedy, speedy. There we go. Oops. There we go. Yeah, as long as you've got electricity in the room, it will span a little while off these little sort of branches. Span maybe to about here, I'd say. But they will moan at you when they don't have enough power. You don't have to plumb in every light, it's just the big things you have to plumb in. Power station and the cooker and that. Let's plumb in this other yard just for fun. Ah, you see here, this light here doesn't quite get reached by this. Now you can't run electrical cable off of these. You have to run the electrical cable off the actual electrical cable line. Come on. And hopefully, not going to do it. Oh yeah, it gets just far enough. I was in that final line. Now, the water runs a little bit differently. When you've got large pipes, which transport the water like long distances, that will run as far as you want it to through a large pipe. And then you have the smaller pipes, eventually will run out of water. So it'll only run so far down the water pipe, small water pipe. Have a little test. Yeah, it only runs so far before it runs out. Oops, we need to plumb in all our toilets, don't we? Now these all need the water pipe running underneath them to be plumbed in properly. The one thing about the large water pipes is prisoners can escape through them, so they can tunnel a lot quicker through large water pipes. So what you tend to do is have large water pipes running next to your cells, and then you'll use the small pipes to connect up the things in the cell, so the prisoners can't escape. Oops. Utilities, there we go. See, so the water gets, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, the water gets to this one here. This here. It runs 39 meters off of here. Then it would stop and you'll get no more water down this side. If you wanted to get water right to the end here, you'd have to expand this large pipe. But we don't need to, so we are not going to. And that is, well, hire some staff. We need 2 guards, we can drop them anywhere, and 2 cooks. And that is our first 2 grants complete. Now, that's not a very good facility, I would say. Not a lot in it. I mean, we could flesh out the yard. If you go to objects and hover over the yard, then it comes up with a few things we may want to put in there, like the weights benches. Whack a few of them down. And phone booths, you can put phone booths anywhere you want. You can put them in the holding cell. A phone booths will supply your family need, and the weights benches, I think it's the recreation they do. I tend to put things in my yard. You can also go to materials, and then you can choose these materials. Some of them are indoor only, like the metal floor. Some of them are outdoor, like the grass. You can change the materials. Again, this is more late game, because it can be rather expensive to change everything. You can have a nice grassed yard for them to run around in if you really wish. Yeah, it does not look much nicer already. But yeah, that is our first 2 grants complete. We could technically get prisoners in. These doors will shut when we get prisoners in, and this whole thing will be secure. It will run around reasonably happy for a little while. But what I would suggest you do is go to your staff, press your reports here, or press on where it says shower, then go to staff and fire your guards and fire your chefs, because you don't need them. You don't have any prisoners coming in. You've still got, I've got £40,000 in the bank. I mean, this whole perimeter fence cost about £1,000, which isn't too bad. What are you guys doing? I have no idea what he's doing. Trying to escape, but he can't because he's not a prisoner. Or has he got himself stuck? No, get back. Oh, I don't know. Never mind. Yeah, I suggest you sack your guards and your chefs, and you can go back into your grants. Then you can start working on these. Now you can take these. I would leave the investments. Just wait for money. That's a little bit boring, to be honest. Yeah, you could take any of these in any order you want, really. You got cell block A to raise your capacity to 15. Shouldn't be too tricky. Just need another 6 beds or 6 cells you could build. Inmate health and well-being, medical ward, that's medical ward, doctors, psychologists. Your maintenance, say some locking things in the bureaucracy. Visitation, build a visitation, build a common room, pool tables. So yeah, if you've unlocked the extra grant, you can now take 3 of these. They all give you a reasonably large amount of cash. 5, 10 or 15 grand or 20 grand for this one. And should have some money left over from building this small facility. And then you can sort of build some more. And when you've got through a few more of these, when you've got a facility you're reasonably happy with, you can open the doors and get some prisoners in. But I'm going to leave this episode for now. I'll leave this video for now. If you'd like me to continue it, let me know. And I'll run through sort of what I would do next. I have some other videos where I've built prisons myself and used some more advanced techniques and planned things out a little bit more before. And yeah, if you want to watch those, then check out my channel. If you want to know when I post videos, if you subscribe, YouTube will let you know through some kind of crazy magic. Not sure how that one works, but they do. And if you've enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a like. And I hope to catch you guys next time.